Hey, hope you're doing as well as can be. I'm just here right now, um, thinking about relationships, human relationships, and the way we relate to each other. Uh, Oftentimes, when we attempt to relate to each other, um, it's a pretty awkward situation. I mean, it almost never fails that when you meet somebody and you think you like that somebody and you start a relationship or friendship or whatever with that somebody, it always never fails that sooner or later, more sooner than later, that you find something you don't like about that person and therefore you complain. Oftentimes, um, the complaints are in the form of gossip behind the person's back, complaining to somebody else about the person that you're trying to relate to or that you call yourself relating to. And that's the point of the matter because it seems as if what we call normal relating to each other, it for the most part amounts to putting up with each other's shenanigans. You know, what else are we going to do? You have to allow me to be me. I have to allow you to be you. And with that being said, there's always some kind of quirk in your personality or quirk in my personality that you don't like. Likewise, some kind of fallacy in your personality I don't like. But for the sake of getting along or relating to each other, we we deal with the personality fallacies that we don't like. And let's face it, we grow to resent whatever we don't like. And if resentment becomes or is left unchecked after a period of time, it basically transmutes into hatred. Now you got two people pretending to like each other, attempting to relate to each other, call themselves relating to each other, when in truth, they're only putting up with each other. For whatever reason, they won't let each other go or go their separate ways. They just put up with each other. I mean, there's all kind of emotional attachment going on, a little bit of mental possession. Usually when we get to know somebody, we start to identify with that somebody. And when you identify with somebody, there's no other way to say it, you think you own that person. And that's one of the reasons why it's so tough to let people go, even when you don't like them anymore. We think we own them, so we hold on to them. They're our possessions. And this is a spiritual thing. And this is one of the most misunderstood things about human relations. And this is why people will deny and say, oh, I don't think I possess that person. I don't own that person. But look at how people say or express themselves when it comes to other people. They'll say, this is my friend. This is my wife. This is my husband. This is my child. They'll even say, this is my enemy. The key word being my. My means ownership. This is mine. Yeah, people even own their enemies and won't even let their enemies go. This is my enemy. Yeah. That's human relations for you. But what's interesting about human relations, for the most part, human relationships, most of them are artificial. And the reason why that is because the person trying to do the relating to the other person and vice versa, the inner person is artificial. People have what they call, what psychology calls egos. And an ego is a self-concept. It's a self-concept that people adopt for themselves. And they believe in that concept, that they believe that concept to be the truth about themselves. And that concept becomes their self-image. That self-image replaces the self-image that they believe in, that they created for themselves out of their self-concept. It replaces, it usurps the image that God had of them. You know, like it says in the Bible, God created man in his image and after his likeness. Well, when people recreate their self-image by concepts that the world gives to them, they believe in those concepts. They basically throw away God's image of them, and that's how they formulate egos that become the center of their unconscious minds. An ego is not only the center of the unconscious mind. The ego is the foundation of the unconscious mind. So people form egos for themselves, and an ego basically is an artificial version of your own soul. It's an artificial soul. And so you got artificial souls trying to relate to each other. Artificial souls cannot truly relate to each other. Why? They can't have real relationships because they're artificial. Something artificial can't be something real. And this is why what we call relating to each other only amounts to putting up with each other. Because of artificial souls. And to take it a step further, artificial souls really think that they can relate to God, that they can know God. An artificial soul cannot know a real God. And this is why there's so much discord in human affairs. Egos cannot relate to, egos cannot unionize themselves with God. They can't. When the Bible says you must be transformed by the renewing of your mind, it's basically saying you got to figure out a way to dispense with your ego and your egotism. You got to dispense with your artificial soul that you created, so the image that God made you in can be allowed to resurface, to reclaim its rightful place in your mind. You become a real person, and you really understand human beings. Not only that, you're reconnected to God. You become one with God again. And that's what really matters anyway. That's what really matters. Becoming one with God so that your ultimate ascension back into heaven is assured. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hope you are as well can be. Subscribe to this channel. God bless.